Guys, we've got something really strange happening right now. And less than 1 meter away from that brown hyena, it looks like a lion busy feeding on the other side of the kill. Good morning everyone, welcome back to a beautifully fresh and early morning start on Shamwari Private Game Reserve. So we've been out since the crack of dawn, even actually before that. It's just starting to get light now. A couple of the birds starting to chirp and call. And we had some good activity last night of lions calling, jackals calling, and movement of hyenas, and going in and out of a specific area block on the reserve. And I'm of the opinion that there is probably a carcass or a kill of a large animal inside there. So we're just spending a bit of time moving around, listening, and we're going to see if we can find out what is causing these animals going in and out, and hopefully find something interesting for you. There's a jackal up front there. Another jackal. So as we made our way into this block, following pathways and tracks, there's 3 black-backed jackals and a brown hyena all clumped around those thickets over there. So we'll just hang back for another minute or two, and then we'll see what information we can get, or if we can go a little bit closer. And judging by the look of that jackal, you can see the bottom end of his legs actually looks a little bit dirty or wet. That would indicate that it's a large animal that they have been feeding on. That is the cause of why we're seeing all the predators in this area. There you can see there's a part of a giraffe. I don't know if that's a neck or a leg. I can just see the pattern on part of the body through the bushes over there. I'm not seeing any lions yet. We've heard lions calling, but I'm not seeing any lions yet, so doubtful that it was the lions that brought that giraffe down. It's a brown hyena. That brown hyena is actually inside the giraffe. So I don't want to get too graphic with the descriptions, but it sounds like that hyena is busy playing in the mud. And I'll give you an indication about what he's feeding on. I said when we came in we could see a jackal with what looked like wet legs all the way up, which would indicate a large animal. And that's often what you'll see, is when there is a very large animal that has died and predators are feeding on it. There's obviously a lot of meat and that to be fed on, but then the animals go inside of it, or into the cavity, the abdominal cavity, to start feeding. That's often where they can get in the easiest. This giraffe looks like he's been here for a good couple of days already, maybe about 5 days, 6 days or so. This is an incredibly large old giraffe bull, and there's potentially over a ton of meat here, so the amount of scavengers and predators that have come into this area is phenomenal. You can see there's numerous brown hyenas, there's numerous jackal, but through the bushes over there, so obviously the neck extends for a good couple of meters that way into the bushes. You can just hear bone crunching and meat tearing. You can see how effective that carnassial shear is on that brown hyena, just those massive cheek muscles, allowing that animal to cut through incredibly hard sinew and bone. And they'll break this whole carcass down. Within a few days there'll be almost nothing left. So a lot of people will ask, are brown hyenas social or solitary? Because we know the spotted hyenas can be very social animals. And brown hyena are quite interesting in that they live socially. They live in clans in these underground dens, but they generally will go out and forage as a solitary individual. Because they don't hunt, they really are the epitome of proper scavengers. But with a food source like this, that is so ripe. Hey. That brown hyena over there, you can see how scarred his face is. His ear is half chewed off. An incredibly tough life. Another brown hyena, there's at least 3, and you can see that guy how he's raised his hair up trying to make himself look bigger. So at least 3 brown hyenas right here that we can see, and there's another large animal in that bush busy feeding on the upper part to the neck, as we can hear the bones crunching that direction. We just can't see what it is. So just a large congregation of scavengers here busy cleaning up and feeding up and just utilizing whatever food source in abundance they can get. And it just happens to be this old giraffe bull. The smell is impressive. It is I'm just very glad it's still quite cold and the air is quite dense. It's not one of those hot summer days just yet. I think the smell would be 10 times worse if it was. It's the power on that hyena's jaws is so impressive. You can see how he latches on with that carnassial shear, and those cheek muscles just crunch down onto that bone, and he even uses neck muscles and back muscles and just levers up to snap those bones and tear meat away. And that is incredibly, incredibly tough skin that they're able to get through. Just goes to show how strong the digestive enzymes of these hyenas and even other predators and scavengers, how strong their immune systems are and how strong their digestive enzymes are, because this meat is not fresh. It's the smell is quite overwhelming, but yet they're still in there and they're still busy feeding on that decaying material and just relying on those incredibly strong digestive enzymes, stomach juices, just to break everything down and process it. And their body's strong enough to fight off whatever infections and bacterial infections. If you have a look at that hyena, he's got lesions on his ears, and I mean, if we would get very sick very quickly. So literally like 30 seconds ago, just this buzz started, and as the sun's rays have started hitting the tops of the trees over here, just the amount of fly activity has just exploded. And those flies will all be going onto that carcass and laying eggs, feeding off of that, and the egg hatching of those flies, the fly larvae will be one of the final stages of breaking down and decomposing the carcass. But these guys will still be feeding in that whole process. That brown hyena is very aware of what is going on over there. There, Andrew. There's a lion there. There's a brown hyena and the lion not even 1 meter away from one another. Guys, we've got something really, really strange happening right now. In this bush off to my right over here, which is the top half of the giraffe, there's been something moving and feeding and crunching on bones, and you see a little bit of movement, and the bushes move every now and again. But the brown hyenas are all here and busy feeding on it as well. And when I say all the brown hyenas, I mean there's 3-4 brown hyenas. Here's another one coming in now. And I've just seen a head shake in that bush over there as this brown hyena was peering over the giraffe carcass. And less than 1 meter away from that brown hyena, it looks like a lion busy feeding on the other side of the kill. And that is incredible. It's not unheard of that when there's such a large amount of food that the aggression goes out of competing predators feeding on a kill, but it is quite strange. But there's a jackal walking past, the brown hyena, all right next to one another, and zero aggression. There's definitely an awareness of one another, but zero aggression. Every now and again these brown hyenas just kind of peer up and put their head there and they look and they're like, they also can't believe what is happening, that they're able to feed off of that giraffe carcass with a lion so close to them. But I suppose with that much food, the reasoning is, well, you feed over there, I'm going to feed over here, we don't bother each other. And there is very, very loud crunching and chewing on that top half of the giraffe. We just can't get there. The bush is quite thick. If it is a lion, it'll just be incredible that they are feeding so close to one another without any aggression. And if it is a lion, I would assume it to be our nomadic male lion. And the fact that he's a solitary lion would just add to the fact that he's so tolerant of these other predators. Better to have access to a good food source and not fight about it, just get whatever food he can. Because being a solitary lion, it is a lot tougher than being in a pride. That brown hyena is too fixed. He's so fixated on this top section over here. You can see the constant gaze of the hyena as he's feeding. He feeds for a little bit and then he checks over, and he feeds for a little bit and then he checks over. So again, just adding to there he looks again. adding to the evidence that we assume that there's a male lion feeding at the top half of that giraffe neck. And all of these predators and scavengers in this area will just be utilizing this, and they will be maximizing gains, because you don't know when a big meal is going to come around again. It might not seem very pleasant to us, but it's nature, it's part of the process, it's how everything cycles back, and it's how the bush remains healthy. Alrighty guys, what an incredible sighting this morning. I think it's time that we move on. Everything is starting to come alive, well, the flies anyway, and I think it's time we moved on. I'm pretty sure that was a lion that we got a glimpse of there, which is just an incredible feature on its own, that competing predators would be feeding so close to one another. I'm going to check up on this area one or two more times, and if we do get anything, we'll be sure to keep you in the loop there. But until then, stay safe. We'll see you soon.